Hey guys, Captain Matt here with Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast, a lighting podcast from the Lighting Trade School. On today's episode, I want to talk about being original, being different, right? How to set yourself apart. And this really ties in a lot to branding as well. And when I say this, I don't mean to be silly and be negative, right? Do things that will gather attention that is negative. That's one thing that, they say no publicity is bad publicity. But if you're, a small company, that's just not true, right? Most of the times, bad publicity or just being silly, like if you wore a clown nose everywhere you go, will that garner the attention you want it to garner? Maybe, maybe not. You'd have to really think that through. Maybe a bad example, but if I wore a clown nose everywhere, I think everyone would just take me for a clown. And one of the things I really want to focus in on is, my branding and how I came to be Captain Matt. We went from the Christmas guys to Barefoot Lighting, Captain Matt, right? And one of the things is obviously you notice most of the year I'm in Tommy Bahamas. Unfortunately, they don't make ones that are good for cold weather, right? They're Tommy Bahamas that are sweaters are like probably for Florida winters or maybe California winters. I'm not sure. So Tommy Bahama, if you're listening to this, please come out with some badass floral patterns that are like really comfortable to wear for guys in upstate New York. Anyway, I digress. But with the Tommy Bahamas, the name, right? And when I meet people for Barefoot Lighting, I hand them a pair of socks, right? A funky pair of socks, chickens on it, cigars on it, cat ears on it, whatever. And I use that as like an icebreaker, right? I'm going to knock your socks off when I hand them the socks. So what is your thing that you're original? And why does that matter? Like, do people wear the socks? I highly doubt it. But it's something that plants into their mind. They're going to remember that's the guy who gave me a pair of socks when he met me. That's that lighting guy who randomly handed me a pair of socks. Oh, that's that guy who's always wearing bright colored clothing. Right. And when it came to, wearing the Tommy Bahamas, not ones from Walmart, not all these things, right? True Tommy Bahamas. What happened was I used to have a marketing company and my partner was at a, like a business meeting where it was networking, right? Where all the people were coming together and business owners, introduce yourselves, all this jazz. Well, he was like, "Hey, I need your help." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not dressed for this, right? I don't have slacks and a normal button down, right? I was in white shorts, flip flops, and one of my Tommy Bahamas." And he's like, "I don't care, just come here." So I go there, and as I walk in, I'm the only guy there not in a suit. I'm the only individual that's not like dressed professionally, if you will. But what that did was every single person in that meeting wanted to talk to me. Right. So much so that the organizer actually came over and asked me if I could sit down because I was being too distracting. They wanted to get the meeting started, but everyone wanted to know what I did. Right. Because in a sea of all professionally dressed people, I stood out. Now, I didn't stand out in a bad way. Right. I was able to deliver, that message of why I was dressed that way. Fine. But what really got me noticing, hey, wait, the clothes that I really love to wear, the Tommy Bahamas, the summer feel good clothes, um, they're not actually a negative when I'm meeting with other business people, as long as you present yourself right. It was a way for me to gain and garner attention without looking silly, right? And now, obviously, with the name Captain Matt, it goes hand in hand. I can wear other things, right? I got sink or swim. I've got all this other things that tie into that branding of Captain Matt. And Captain Matt became a real thing in terms of the marketing angle um, when I started Barefoot Lighting. So if we rewind to, I had the Christmas guys and was doing Christmas lighting. And then when I went into full-time lighting, all year round lighting, I should say, there was a disconnect, right? Because I was approaching people as the Christmas guys trying to sell them permanent lighting, landscape lighting, etc., etc. So then if I come in as the Christmas guys, it was so confusing. No one wants Christmas lights in July or March or April, right? So I was presenting myself as the Christmas guys, but showing up for things that weren't Christmas, and it didn't really work. So I developed Barefoot Lighting. That brand was tailored around me. I spent a lot of time barefoot, obviously feel good, did my colors, was badass, stood out. So then I had Barefoot Lighting and the Christmas guys. And the whole plan was I'll do Barefoot Lighting in the off season, Christmas guys in the holiday season. They'll all be fine and dandy. So I get called into the radio, do an interview. That interview goes off. And what happened was that then people were confused. They said, "Oh, you don't do Christmas anymore. What happened?" And it became a lot of my normal clients and people that just know me when they use me. It became so confusing to them. What do you mean? What's going on? Plus, I was in marketing at this time too. I had a marketing company. And so then, who am I? Am I Matt, the marketing guy? Am I Matt from Christmas Guys? Am I Matt from Barefoot Lighting? I was talking to one of my coaches, Garrett J. White from Wake Up Warrior, and he said, you need to brand yourself, period, so that no matter what you do, you are always Captain Matt. Now, at this point, I was going by Captain Matt already. It's what my crew has always called me. And then, kind of just took that moniker and ran with it. But he said, you need to brand Captain Matt so that no matter where Captain Matt goes, no matter who he's working for, what industry he's in, you will always be Captain Matt. That personal brand of Captain Matt will live along with Barefoot, along with Christmas, along with the marketing. Captain Matt is your way of tying it all together. So from that day forward, and this was years ago at this point, right? I went all in on marketing Captain Matt, right? That's Captain Matt Outdoors, Lights Legacy Living. My dress, my jewelry, the way I speak, the way I write my emails, the way I post, right? It all is me as Captain Matt. So it's unapologetically me. I don't have to tailor my voice like I do sometimes if I'm writing a Barefoot email, if I'm writing if I was writing a different marketing email or writing an email for somebody else where the way I speak may not be appropriate. Captain Matt allowed me to be myself, speak how I speak, and attract the people that I want to attract. And I want to attract people that like me, right? That's the great thing is there's so many options for everything out there. You want to work with people that you know, like, and trust. And being able to just be myself and kind of break out of all other things and just be Captain Matt, not only was it less confusing for everybody because they just know that Captain Matt does lighting. Whether it's the Christmas guys or Barefoot Lighting, it didn't matter anymore. Captain Matt does lighting. Captain Matt also has a marketing thing, right? So that was brilliant for me. And one way I was different is the clothes I wear, right? Same thing with Barefoot Lighting. One of the ways we are different is our colors and the fact that we have these crazy socks we give people. Now, there's a lot of other things that make it different, but those are key things, the right away things, the things you notice first that set an impression that make us distinguishable from the next guy. Because your product choice and all that, of course it matters, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? It matters in long term, in longevity, in futurability of a system, but it doesn't matter in the sale making thing, right? Especially when outdoor lighting, right? Because no one really gives a fuck about brands in terms of there's no homeowner that says, oh, I'm so glad you're using Lifetime Lighting because I hate Kichler or I hate insert name here. There's no real brand whores, as they're called, for a manufacturer or a brand of landscape lighting outside of the industry, right? I'm talking about homeowners. So a homeowner, as long as you tell them you're going to give them a great product, a great warranty, that's going to give them the safety and the vibe and everything that they're looking for, that's all that matters to them. They do not care. So the fact that you use Lifetime Lighting and the other guy uses brand X, that alone isn't enough, right? That is more of a value stack or stacking the differences rather than the difference that garners attention. Because if someone gets 3 quotes for landscape lighting and one of us hands them a pair of socks when they meet them, who are they going to remember? It gives me a leg up. It gives me a way to break out of he's just a lighting contractor, whether it's me or one of my guys. Doing that breaks us out. So, what is something that in your business that you can do to set yourself up as different than the competitors, different than the other people that are going to show up at their home? This can be different in the lighting industry, different than all the other home service providers they're used to. What is something you can do differently that doesn't make you look like a clown? Unless you're like clown lighting, then hell yeah, dress up like a clown, right? But in terms of it doesn't make a negative connotation towards you, but it draws attention to you. It allows you to be memorable in a way that is easy for you, right? I'm able to be Captain Matt because it's not bullshit. It's not like I created this persona and then I have to act like him, and then other times I'm just Matt. Right? It works because it's me. Right? So if you're going to do a personal brand, make sure it's you. Don't just randomly choose a nickname like other people I've known and be like, I'm going to be this. I'm going to be blank Joe. I'm going to be blank Mike. It doesn't work if you just make it up. Right? You have to be able to live that at all times so that it makes sense, because otherwise you're going to create confusion in the marketplace, confusion with your branding, which I've done plenty of times to know not to do it. Right? I can even get hard for me now to remember which Instagram to post on. Oh, is this a Captain Matt talking? Is this Captain Matt with Barefoot Lighting talking? Is this Captain Matt with Christmas Guys talking? Is this Captain Matt the mentor talking? Right? So like just remembering which Instagram. I'm still the same guy, but obviously I don't want to talk about coaching and mentoring on Barefoot, not because I hide it, but because that's not the target audience of that social media, right? So being yourself and learning how you can use who you are to set yourself up to be different in a good way. Same thing with your business, right? Spending time on the whole branding. It's more than just your logo, more than just your colors. What do your emails look like? How do your interactions look? What's your phone scripts look like? What does the final walkthroughs look like? Are there thank you messages? Are there postcards? All of this. Does that brand stay consistent across every touch point of communication? Every yard sign they see. If they see a yard sign and then they see your Instagram and then they talk to you on the phone and they can't comprehend that you're all three the same, you don't have consistency in your branding. You don't have consistency in your marketing, right? Something is broken. You want there to be consistency so that when someone sees a yard sign, and then someone sees your billboard, and then someone sees your website, and then someone sees you on Instagram, and then someone sees you on Facebook, and then someone sees you on LinkedIn, they know they're seeing the same person. Not because they remember your face, they remember the picture you're using, but because there's brand consistency throughout, right? So for Barefoot Lighting, it's feel good. It's a good time, right? So if that's my branding, Barefoot Lighting, blue and pink and purple and white, right? And then if I come in and I'm this serious, guy, or if I try to be like a nerd, or if I try to be a glow geek and nerd out, that doesn't work. It's not consistent. They weren't expecting that. There's a reason people call you, right? There, whether you know it or not, there is a perception. There's that perception that everyone sees when they see your website, social posts, whatever. They make in your mind and about your business immediately. So when they call up and they do not get the response or the conversation they expect from what you have put out into the world that they now take as the perception of your business, they're confused, right? So you want to make sure that the person gets the company that you're marketing. That's why I see a lot of times AI hurting guys, where they're using AI. They're not writing anything original. They're just asking AI to, hey, make me a Facebook post about landscape lighting. Make me a Facebook post about permanent lighting. Make me a Facebook post about Christmas lighting. And I'll read these and I know these guys and they don't speak like that. They don't talk like that. It's not the words they use. That's not the power that they have when they speak to you. A lot of these posts, they come out right like strong and authoritative and like, then you meet them in person and they're timid. It doesn't make any sense. I know you're a fugazi because that's not who you are. So if you're going to make even your Facebook posts, you need to do it in your language, in your tone, right? When I when I do my posts, they are Captain Matt, right? It's not Captain Matt, but I borrowed over here and just hope that no one notices, right? So that's the type of consistency. AI can be a great tool for that, but I've just been seeing so many guys make these posts and write these emails, and the emails are too polished, too strong, too weak, so that there's no consistency. When the client actually talks to them, it's like, wait, is this the same guy who posted this strong? You need lighting because, if you don't, you hate your in-laws, and then they talk to you and you're timid. Is this the same guy? Have I been had? Have I been hoodwinked? I tell you, hoodwinked. So all of that matters. So brand consistency, finding out where you can be different, right? So you have all of these touch points, and you have these touch points that make you stand out. So I'd encourage you all to kind of think about it, start spitballing, whiteboarding. What is your socks? What is something you can incorporate in your business that are like socks to mine? Anyways, I think if you do that and you look at your whole brand, the whole client journey, look at it as a whole, right? Get all the individual pieces, then look at it, step back and look at it as a whole. Is it consistent? Is it the same type of messaging and branding throughout the entire interaction, from top of the funnel, not knowing who you are, to final walkthrough? Is it consistent? And do you stand out? All right, go make some money. This is Captain Matt with Captain's Quarters First Class, a lighting podcast from the Lighting Trade School. Talk to you guys later.